The sun had barely risen over the dusty horizon of Borno State when the silence of the dawn was shattered by the roar of gunfire, marking the beginning of a day that the terrorists of ISWAP will never forget. If you think the war in the northeast is quietening down, you need to hear what just happened at Bula Dalo and Sabon Gari, because the Nigerian Army has just delivered a masterclass in surprise warfare. The headline says victory, but the details of this operation are what we need to talk about, because it involves everything from dawn raids to high-tech drone battles that sound like something out of a movie. We are broadcasting this breaking situation report today, Thursday, January 29, 2026, following confirmed intelligence from the front lines of Operation Hadin Kai. The narrative has shifted. For a long time, we used to hear about insurgents attacking our positions, but this time the script was flipped. On Wednesday, January 28, troops of the Nigerian Army decided to pay the terrorists a surprise visit while they were arguably still sleeping. The location was Bula Dalo, a known hideout by the insurgents thought was safe. They were wrong. According to the details released by Zagazola Makama, the renowned counterinsurgency expert in the Lake Chad region, the troops launched a coordinated dawn attack that caught the enemy completely off guard. You can imagine the scene, the terrorists waking up not to the sound of birds, but to the overwhelming firepower of the Nigerian military. It was chaos for them. The report confirms that several fighters were neutralized instantly, dropping where they stood, while the lucky ones abandoned their weapons and ran into the bush with their tails between their legs. But it wasn't just about the body count, it was about what they left behind. This is the part that shows you how significant this victory is. The troops recovered a massive arsenal. We're talking about 4 AK-47 rifles, which are the standard tools of their trade, but it gets bigger. They also seized a PKT anti-aircraft gun. Now, pause and think about that. A PKT gun is not a toy. It is a heavy weapon capable of bringing down low-flying aircraft and tearing through light vehicles. Taking that gun off the battlefield has likely saved the lives of many pilots and soldiers. They also recovered a rocket-propelled gun and a multiple grenade launcher. These are weapons of mass destruction in a local context, and now they are in the hands of our gallant troops. The operation didn't stop there. The military pushed their luck and their advantage further to a place called the Garno Terrorist Camp. This was a follow-up operation, meaning they didn't just hit one spot and go home. They chased the fleeing bad guys to their next stronghold. At Garno, the troops destroyed what the military calls life support structures. In plain English, this means they destroyed their food stores, their sleeping quarters, their medicine, and their fuel. They made sure that even if the terrorists came back, they would have nowhere to sleep and nothing to eat. At this camp, they also recovered a substantial quantity of ammunition for that PKT anti-aircraft gun I mentioned earlier. This strikes a major blow to their logistics. A gun without bullets is just a piece of metal, and bullets without a gun are useless. The army took both. Now, I know you are feeling proud of our boys, and you should be, but we have to be honest about the reality of this war. It is not a one-sided game, and the enemy is evolving. This brings us to the second part of today's report, which happened just this morning in the early hours of Thursday. While the victory at Bula Dalo was being celebrated, a fierce battle was erupting in Sector 2 at Sabon Gari. This was not a simple ambush. ISWAP fighters launched an attack on the troops' location, but they came with a new and dangerous twist. They were supported by multiple armed drones. Yes, you heard that right. The terrorists are now using drone technology to drop explosives and provide air support for their foot soldiers. It is a terrifying development that changes the dynamics of the battlefield. The report says the insurgents used these drones to try and soften up the military defenses before charging in. For a brief moment, it looked like their plan might work. The report admits that the insurgents managed to breach a part of the defensive position. Imagine the intensity of that moment. Drones buzzing overhead, dropping bombs, gunfire coming from the front, and smoke filling the air. But this is where the Nigerian spirit shines brightest. Instead of breaking, our gallant troops stood their ground. They rallied. They fought back with everything they had. They swiftly repelled the assault and restored full control of the sector. They denied the attackers any ground. However, freedom often comes at a price. It is with a heavy heart that we must report that this encounter led to casualties. We lost some brave souls among the troops and the civilian joint task force. These are the local heroes who know the terrain and fight side by side with the military to protect their own communities. We owe them a debt of gratitude that can never be fully repaid. The drone attack also damaged some heavy equipment, specifically an excavator and a low-bed truck that were likely being used for construction or fortification works in the area. I want to take a quick second want to ask you something important. When you hear about terrorists using drones, does it make you worry about who is supplying them with this technology? It's a question we need to ask. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you are appreciating these timely updates that go beyond just the headlines to give you the real story, please do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach more people who care about our national security. And if you haven't joined the family yet, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update on what is happening in our country. Welcome back. Let's look at the bigger picture of what happened today. The attack on Sabon Gari shows that ISWAP is desperate. They are hurting from the losses in Bula Dalo and Garno, so they are throwing everything they have at our positions, including expensive drones. But the fact that they were repelled, despite the technology and the surprise, is a testament to the readiness of our forces. Security officials have stated that exploitation of the area is currently ongoing. This means the troops are not just sitting in their base waiting for the next attack. They are combing the bushes, tracking the blood trails of the fleeing insurgents, and ensuring that they cannot regroup. The goal is to deny them freedom of movement. If a terrorist cannot move, he cannot plan and he cannot attack. The damage to the excavator and low bed is unfortunate, but machinery can be replaced. The courage shown by our soldiers cannot. The collaboration between the army and the civilian joint task force remains the backbone of the security in Borno. When the military has the heavy guns and the locals have the eyes and ears, the terrorists have nowhere to hide. So as we wrap up this report, let's focus on the victory. Bula Dalo is cleared. Garno camp is destroyed. The Sabon Gari attack was repelled. Weapons that could have killed hundreds of innocent people are now in the custody of the Nigerian Army. It is a good day for Nigeria, even though we mourn those who paid the ultimate price. We will keep monitoring the situation in the Lake Chad region. We know that Zagazola, Makama, and other sources will continue to bring us the truth from the front lines. And as they do, we will be here to break it down for you, plain and simple. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and keep supporting our troops.